Tonight, an investigation launched in Stockton over a comedy show and $50,000 in city funds.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I do TikTok bottom of the video, and we're just gonna hop right into it. So, Tuesday, back to regular scheduled programming. So, today we will be talking about Jason Lee. Now, if y'all unfamiliar with who Jason Lee is a podcast host. He started Hollywood Unlocked. He's basically been a personality in, I guess you could say, the hip hop space and kind of that's culture space and similar to that sort for pretty much a while now. We won't be talking about, Jason Lee and his baby he's supposed to be having with Tiffany Haddish that I haven't figured out if it's a joke or not yet, because if you didn't know, Jason Lee was gay, so I don't know how that works, but that's none of my business. But today we will be talking about Jason Lee and his position as the vice mayor of Stockton. So if you didn't know, Jason Lee last year ran for city council and won, and then now he has become the actual vice mayor. So that's pretty important. Stockton, California. So he's from Stockton. If you are, if you listen to rap and things that, so you might be familiar with Stockton. Stockton is, actually, being, it's one of them, I don't even know how to consider it, but Stockton is not a nice place. Let me say that. So obviously, he's trying to help in the betterment of Stockton and things of that sort. But, we know Stockton for what it is. Stockton is a little rough. But what we're here to talk about today is Jason Lee has been, I don't know if you want to call it scrutiny, under investigation. I wouldn't say it's under investigation, but the city manager did mention this, and they have an interim city manager. I don't know what happened to the last one. I guess he quit or something, whatever, fuck. But the interim city manager has been looking in this, and supposedly Jason Lee used $50,000 from the risk mitigation funds to help the not cancellation of the Wild 'N Out show that they had in Stockton that he also performed in. So, I mean, obviously we know why he's under a lot of scrutiny.
This really whole week has been about a political witch hunt to prove somehow that the vice mayor conspired with city staff to go in the bank accounts to give $50,000 to a brand that lost $170,000 on top of the $50,000 in an approved fund that they have used in the past. It also was an opportunity to silence the voice of staff who are bringing forward serious concerns with respect to internal controls that are out of control.
I mean, because you took from the city and they said it wasn't approved. But it's a lot of ways you could go with this. So, you could start with, we just black and whited, 50,000 took from the risk mitigation fund. That sounds kind of important. I don't know. I mean, obviously with California, and my first thing of risk would be a natural disaster. Especially they did have the fires. The fires are not at this right now, but. California does have a lot of earthquakes, shit of that sort. So, I mean, that's what I'm thinking with risk mitigation. I'm thinking of a natural disaster. I don't think a natural disaster has ever, struck Stockton, demolished it in a way say, Katrina did New Orleans. So, that's me playing devil's advocate. But that's interesting. As far as events in the city and trying to get more positive shit going in the city, I can definitely see the thinking behind it, because they had already said, events previously had got canceled. And basically this 50,000 was because the low ticket sales, and that people, basically for the promoters, it was like, for us to, keep us going, we need some more money, because with these low ticket sales, we might end up canceling. So, with that, if you're trying to bring, more events to Stockton, which is probably the goal, because that definitely boosts and helps the economy. I mean, we see with these big cities what some of these events do for these big cities who have a population that's willing to pay tickets and support things like that. We see what it does for the economy. It can help the economy a lot. So that thinking of it, why the 50,000, even though it came from the risk mitigation funds, if you are thinking in that light, that 50,000 could in the long term end up basically being made back if you are able to continue having events in your city that produce a good amount of money. Another thing though is basically what Low ticket sales though is I wonder what was the main reason contribute low ticket sales. Was it people couldn't afford them, or was it that stock, like I said, Stockton is one of those cities, so it is so much beef in the city that niggas is not trying to come out because they might one, if you don't nigga with the beef, but say you a pedestrian and things of that sort, you don't want to get caught in the crossfires. If it's something like that, then it's gonna take a lot more. If it's something like that, that 50,000 should probably went to the youth, because it's kind of been studied, and we've seen this with Baltimore and other cities, that if you put money into the youth, that has led to a decrease in crime. So I don't know. It's a definitely interesting situation. Jason Lee being the vice mayor of a city it sounds crazy to begin with if you just pay attention to what Jason Lee does, especially Hollywood Unlocked, his podcast and things of that sort. You just wouldn't expect a nigga like that to be vice mayor and things of that sort. So it's a lot to it, but let me know your opinions down in the comment. But that's really all I gotta say though. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I just TikTok Bonneville, and we up.